The distant stars shimmered like 1,000 scattered gems across the void as the transport vessel glided silently through the outer rim of the Caliph expanse. On board, most of the passengers were merchants, explorers, and military observers from human and alien worlds. Yet one young human soldier, tall and lean, moved quietly among them. He carried no weapons openly, only a small satchel containing personal rations, a logbook, and a few keepsakes from his home planet. Despite the murmurs and stares of other passengers, he kept his gaze steady, never yielding to the unspoken curiosity surrounding him. It had been months since he had left Earth, training for missions that would take him far beyond the reaches of human colonies. Still, even in the endless silence of space, one small act could shift the course of perception. During a routine meal in the communal dining hall, he noticed a half-empty tray of nutrient paste sitting across from him. Without hesitation, he broke off a portion and offered it to a stranger seated nearby. The stranger was unlike any human he had encountered before. Her skin had a faint iridescence, shimmering in soft shades of silver and lavender, and her eyes were a deep violet, reflecting the dim lights overhead. She wore a ceremonial garment that marked her rank, yet her posture carried the casual elegance of someone who could have chosen to ignore the crowded hall entirely. "You can eat this," he said simply, pushing the tray toward her. His voice was calm, steady, free of the pride or arrogance some humans displayed in the presence of aliens. For a moment, she regarded him in silence. Her expression was unreadable, a mixture of curiosity and caution. Then, ever so slowly, she leaned forward, accepting the food. She ate with deliberate care, savoring each bite, and the faintest trace of a smile touched her lips. "You are unusual," she whispered after a few moments. Her voice like a melody carried on the wind, barely audible over the hum of the vessel's engines. Most humans would not share their meal so freely. Most humans would not even notice someone like me. He shrugged, a simple gesture that carried no attempt at explanation. "It is only food," he said. "Everyone needs to eat." Her eyes studied him more intently, and he felt the weight of her gaze, as though she were trying to read through the layers of human thought and intention. Around them, other passengers glanced occasionally, some with curiosity, others with barely concealed suspicion. The hall had grown quiet, as if the presence of the alien princess and the human soldier had created an invisible boundary that no one dared cross. For the next few days, she sat beside him during meals. Sometimes she spoke, sometimes she did not. When she did, her questions were probing, insightful, and often surprising. She asked about his home world, the wars humans had fought, the ideals they held, and the dreams they nurtured. In turn, he answered honestly, without embellishment or pretense. "You are not like the humans I have encountered before," she said one evening after a particularly long discussion about Earth's history. "They are proud, ambitious, even reckless. You are patient. You observe before acting. You consider others." He did not respond immediately, choosing instead to watch the stars passing by the viewing windows. "Perhaps I learned that from watching," he said finally. "The galaxy is too large for us to act without thought. Too many lives depend on the choices we make." Her violet eyes reflected the pale glow of the stars, and she nodded slowly. "It is rare," she said. "Rare for someone to understand the value of restraint." Word of their interactions spread quietly among the vessel's passengers. Some dismissed it as mere curiosity, a fleeting connection between two individuals from vastly different worlds. Others observed with guarded interest, aware that the actions of a single human could have far-reaching consequences. She was a princess, heir to one of the most powerful systems in the expanse, and his behavior could be interpreted as either a challenge or a statement. One evening, as the transport passed through a nebula, a warning alarm echoed through the ship. The vessel shuddered under the force of an unexpected gravitational anomaly. Passengers panicked, rushing to secure themselves or reach emergency shelters. The human soldier moved with swift efficiency, guiding those around him, calming fears, and ensuring that no one was left behind. The alien princess, who had initially frozen in place, followed him instinctively, trusting his judgment without hesitation. Once the danger passed and the ship stabilized, she turned to him with a mixture of awe and something softer, more personal. "You did not hesitate," she said quietly. "Even when others were afraid, you acted to protect them." He shook his head, as if surprised by her praise. "I did what anyone would do," he replied. Yet she could see in his eyes the difference between words and conviction. Every action, every choice, carried weight beyond mere survival. It was a principle, a reflection of who he was. Over the following weeks, their bond deepened. They shared stories, dreams, and fears. She revealed the burdens of leadership, the expectations of her people, and the isolation that came with her title. He spoke of Earth, of its struggles, and the small victories that gave hope to billions. In quiet moments, they simply sat together, watching distant worlds pass by in the darkness. It was during one of these silent evenings that she reached for his hand. The gesture was tentative, yet filled with intent. "You are unusual," she whispered again, as if repeating a truth she could hardly believe. "Not just because of your actions, but because of who you are. You see people, not just soldiers, not just subjects. You see life." He looked at her hand, then at her gaze. "Perhaps I do," he said softly. "Because life matters. All of it. No matter the species, no matter the world." The bond between them did not go unnoticed. Members of her court, advisors, and even rival factions began to observe the human closely. Some saw an opportunity, others a threat. Rumors circulated of a human who could influence a princess through compassion rather than conquest. It was an idea so alien to the expanse that it ignited debate, fear, and curiosity in equal measure. One day, while exploring the observation deck of the vessel, they encountered a stranded pod drifting from a nearby system. Its signal indicated distress. Without hesitation, he prepared to board the pod, carefully calculating the trajectory, the risks, and the probability of success. She insisted on accompanying him, unwilling to leave him alone, yet he protested lightly, arguing that it was too dangerous. In the end, she trusted him, and together they maneuvered the pod safely into the docking bay. Inside, they discovered survivors of a failed exploration mission. They were injured, scared, and disoriented. He immediately organized aid, distributing medical supplies and calming their fears. The princess assisted, her presence inspiring hope among the survivors. As they worked side by side, she observed him closely. His calm determination, his patience, and his respect for life set him apart from anyone she had known. "You make it look easy," she said quietly. Once the survivors were stabilized, he shook his head with a faint smile. "It is not easy," he replied. "It is necessary." As the days passed, the relationship became more than companionship. It became a symbol. The human soldier's simple acts, sharing food, offering guidance, protecting life, revealed a truth many had forgotten. That strength was not only measured by power or dominance, but by compassion, integrity, and courage. Finally, after months aboard the transport vessel, as it approached the capital world of her system, the princess spoke with a quiet intensity. "I have seen your strength," she said, holding his gaze firmly. "Not the kind measured by weapons or armies, but the kind that endures, that protects, that inspires. You are unusual, and I want the world to know it." He felt the weight of her words, and a strange warmth filled him. "I do what I can," he said simply. It is all anyone can do." She smiled, a radiant expression that seemed to capture the light of distant suns. "You have changed how I see humans," she said. "And I think you have changed how the galaxy might see us both." When the vessel docked, they stepped onto the capital world together. Their presence sparked whispers, and curiosity, and admiration. Humans and aliens alike began to notice the unusual bond between a young soldier and a princess. The story of his simple act sharing half his meal became a symbol of something larger, something that transcended species, politics, and tradition. It was not power that commanded attention. It was humanity itself, distilled in one individual who chose empathy over arrogance, patience over haste, and life over fear. The princess, once bound by protocol and expectation, found herself inspired not by conquest or strategy, but by the quiet strength of someone who saw the universe not as a battlefield, but as a shared home. And as they walked side by side through the bustling streets of her capital world, the princess whispered once more, her voice carrying the promise of a future forged together. "You are unusual," she said, "and I hope you never change." He looked at her and smiled, feeling for the first time that his place in the galaxy was not merely as a soldier or observer, but as someone who could make a difference simply by being who he was. Around them, the stars continued to shine, the worlds continued to turn, and the galaxy began to see the power of one human who chose kindness, courage, and integrity. And in that quiet revolution, an alien princess found someone worth following, and humanity found a place among the stars, not through conquest,